Consider our roles in representation and empowering the community. Representing our community is a privilege, and it is also a responsibility. Fête Chinoise, we are already about changing perspectives, right? All of you in here are movers and shakers, changing perspectives on how people see the Asian community.
What makes me so proud to be Asian and representing is just showing off a bit of my culture, to really push my heritage forward.
Connecting with inspirational people to kind of propel that kind of spirit so we can inspire other Asians to pursue things that they didn't think they could do.
Through a curated lens of both art, design, culture, tradition, we try to bring together a content that deepens our connection with our heritage, with our culture, and today's community in Canada.
I think that there is a big responsibility that all of us have to come together, celebrate the pride that we have as a culture.
Even the different directions that it's starting to take as well, with promotion of stories on the different new Asian talents, right? It's really interesting.
To be of Chinese descent in the media is extremely important to me. To show a voice that they may relate to, that they can recognize.
Pass on this tradition to the next generation to help them self-identify and celebrate exactly who they are. And to be Chinese Canadian should be a very proud title.
I always wanted to be a singer, and there are no Asian musicians that I could look up to, and there's just so many opportunities for us to uplift and root for each other. And I think that that's the thing that I'm trying to go for.
The Fête Chinoise motto is publications worth keeping. It's about appreciating beauty, appreciating craft, and appreciating the process of creating culture. It's really important because if you don't appreciate it and you take it for granted, it often disappears and becomes completely gone.
Heritage is who we are. We couldn't change it. Culture, we actively participate. It's a fabric that we knit together.
As an immigrant to Canada, for myself, I know at that time, it was all about assimilation into the current culture. And for me, when I thought about culture, I always thought about kind of a very far off concept, something that wasn't close. It would be like dynasties, or it would be like, oh, the Forbidden Palace is part of our culture. It's just now that I'm realizing that culture and tradition are quite interchangeable.
I was born and raised in China. When I was 14 years old, I moved to Canada with my parents. So I already have very deep roots and a strong connection to Chinese culture. And Canada is a very beautiful country with multiple cultures. And then the multiple cultures made Canada very beautiful. And I'm so proud that I'm a part of it.
My parents are Portuguese from Macau and Hong Kong. My parents and their community and from their ancestors were always navigating concepts of identity mixed with integration.
A piece of me always really wanted to go explore more of my culture, but another side was really torn because we wanted to be Canadian. Growing up, it was really trying to balance the two. It's more than ever very important to my family and my husband that we bring back the Chinese culture, and that culture is a part of us.
I grew up in Vancouver, came to Canada when I was 8 years old, fell in love with ballet. I think I've been in love with ballet all my life, but I didn't actually start my formal training until I came to Canada. Then we realized that, there aren't that many Asian ballerinas, if any. Not so many role models, but I was an 8-year-old and just loved to dance.
When I was in Hong Kong, I have been surrounded by traditions because I come from a very big family. But then I took it for granted. Now I know that it is really something that is very close to my heart now, because of my volunteer work at the Chinese Cultural Center.
I have a lot of pride in the Chinese culture and traditions, and I want to pass that down to my children and grandchildren, because now I've got to start thinking about that. You know, for many of us who may not have grandparents around, you know, how else are we supposed to learn about these stories? And even not just, you know, ancient stories or traditions, but also stories of, you know, success stories of people in our culture who are young, who have made it and were able to not lose sense of the culture, but also, you know, be successful within the culture and share the culture with the rest of the world.
I remember in 2017 for our signature event, I quoted Gabriella Roy after attending the Governor General Awards earlier that year. Could we ever know each other in the slightest without the arts? As artists, we create beauty for this world that strings together our past and the future. And without this beauty, there would be a void. And I think that for Fête Chinoise, at the core of what we do is that we create beauty so that the stories of our diaspora families and communities can come to life in the most spectacular way.
Fête Chinoise, it's got responsibility to find stories, find people that describe, that represent, that are changing culture. Second one is then to highlight and tell their story. And then the third one is to then showcase, celebrate, and then expand.
Fête Chinoise is in a very, very unique position because it brings Chinese culture and the Western culture or Canadian culture together in a very, very unique way, in a very contemporary way.
Story is what makes people identify themselves in. Being able to see themselves in that story, piece a little bit of who they are, make it extremely relatable. That's what storytelling is all about. It's allowing the storyteller to connect with the audience.
Fête Chinoise has really elevated beyond measure Asian culture, tradition, taste, and it's really brought this elegance to the Chinese culture that hasn't been seen before. And the magazine itself is an absolute feast for the eyes. It is so gorgeous, well written, the quality is absolutely stunning.
The process behind what we do is what makes our books so attractive and so tactile. It's that magnet that draws you in to keep reading, keep flipping, and just want to feel the cover with your hands every time you receive a copy. And the process is quite beautiful. So the first part is story selection. Everyone has nominations for stories and ideas that they get inspired by and want to share with us so that we can share with more people. Every season, according to the theme of the book, we would distill and curate all the stories. And so our 3 annuals are the Design Annual, the Annual Book of Incredible People, and our Celebrations Annual. So depending on where these stories fit, we then curate them according to theme. And these spiritual themes guide and kind of are the strand that keeps every book cohesive and very meaningful, not only thematically, but visually, and in every single aspect of the storytelling. When it comes to the storytelling, it starts with an interview.
Can you hear me? Did you turn this mic on?
Have an intimate conversation with our writers, both in English and in Chinese. And then we have to do a photo shoot. And it's truly the talents that come together are phenomenal. Whether it's the stylist, the makeup artist, the hair artist, the videographer, the photographer, the assistants, the lighting specialist, our editorial team. And from there, we perfect the images and the words. And every single image, every single word has to earn its place on that page. Every square inch of that book is something that we invest in.
Each individual story that you tell, whether it's a person, a brand, an iconic symbol of our culture, it's a puzzle piece. And then when you connect them all together, one by one, you tell another story, and then overall, you have this whole thing that tells this giant story. It's really a diversity of storytelling through different storytellers.
We also create custom art covers for every edition. And every edition is a work of art. It thematically supports the concepts that we have in the book. So the cover is very much tied into the stories inside and sometimes is a feature story itself. And I think the best example of cover design is the 2024 Design Annual, featuring hundreds of Hong Kong's neon lights. And so just like how they created by hand, we also hand illustrated every stroke in different layers. We drew one layer of Chinese typography. So in this case, there's actually 2-color foil on top of 4-color printing on top of a really velvety laminate layer. So the cover itself goes through 4 or 5 different processes before it's even trimmed and then sew bound into what you now hold in your hands. So we hope that our readers and anybody who just comes across our book is just drawn to all these details, because that's what culture really is. It's about inspiring each other. It's about creating things that we can keep for a lifetime and then pass on to the next. Making things that are heirlooms is in our mantra, and that's what makes it a keepsake publication.
People should always try to make the world better. So how do we bring the heritage and the traditions and put it into these ever-evolving cultural fabric in our own unique way? That's what we need to do. That's how we empower our next generation. That's what it is. Celebrating our past, but looking forward, how can we make the future uniquely ours?
As someone born and raised in Canada, it's never lost upon me that I'm a child of diaspora. My mother immigrated here because of education. My grandmother followed and left her life in Asia to take care of us. And I'll never forget that there's so many generations that came before us, whether it's the people who came to build the railroad, all the way through to the first set of immigrants who had to battle discrimination, through to all the challenges they had to overcome to achieve the success that they have today in order to even give back. I think that oftentimes these stories never got the full spotlight that they deserve. And that's partially why, it's so important to include a diverse cross-section of stories within our generation.
Today, when I reflect back on a decade, I think about all the giants on whose shoulders we stand, who came before us, planted the seed, and we sit now beneath the trees that they planted and benefit from the shade.
I came to Canada in 1972 as a student.
I immigrated to Canada 40 years ago.
I've been here over 40 years. I came to Canada about 34 years ago.
For 34 years.
When I first came to Canada, it was cold, it was lonely, and it was very isolated, and I missed my home in Hong Kong very much.
Everybody really started with nothing in those days. No job, not knowing anybody in Canada at that time.
30 years ago, in Toronto, it's not so Asian friendly. Whenever I'm going for a job interview, people will say that, do you have Canadian experience?
I have the experience, 13 years already, but the problem is when you interview for a job, unfortunately, is no Canadian experience. That's the challenge for the new immigrants.
Keep calling, and keep calling for jobs.
As a teenager, loving basketball, at that point in time in the 90s, there just wasn't a lot of opportunities for guys to play at a really high level.
好簡單嘅，90年移民過嚟，眨眼30年就睇到成個社會變化好多，好感觸。
冇咁感觸，應該新嘅一代有新嘅希望嘅。
希望長江岸推前來啦。
嚇！希望以後唔使好似我哋以前咁辛苦，因為而家嘅環境比以前仲難做，比我哋以前做嘅嘢更加辛苦，因為物資係貴咗，人工亦都係貴咗，人才亦都係少咗，呢個係一個好主力嘅問題。
因為咧就係話喺我15年嘅警務生涯入邊咧，我發覺我哋多倫多華人社區咧，我哋有3個弱點。第一就係言語嘅障礙，第二就係東西方文化嘅差異，第三就係加拿大嘅法律同我哋原居地係完全唔同嘅。大部分咧我哋嚟自中港台，但係咧嗰個法律係唔同。就算係香港咧，法律都係90% 一樣。但係喺警察嘅運作咧係完全兩件事。
As a Hong Konger, coming to Toronto 40 years ago, it was a little bit sleepy, but I saw opportunity.
自從1986年嘅時候咧，我就開始從事呢個傳媒行業，包括報紙啦、電台同埋電視，將最新最快資訊帶俾大家，亦都將歡樂帶俾大家。 咁但係依家咧，我已經係轉行啦，就另外一個新嘅業。我哋喺呢度開咧就係麵包鋪，即係 bakery 啦。咁啊，希望將啲美食帶俾大家。嗱，點解我哋會喺呢個主流社會開嘅咧？主流商場開，主要就係希望將中華美食咧帶俾主流社會，大家品嚐到我哋嘅中華美食。
When I first started years ago, that brands and corporation was actually not paying attention to the contribution and importance of immigrants. They have been contributing to the social fabric, economic situation, and over the years, and they work hard, they pay taxes.
Coming from Hong Kong, we have that really spirit of understanding what hard working and learning and integrating.
One day, the archivist came to me and said, I need to mention something to you. Did you know that you were the first principal dancer of Chinese heritage that this company has ever had? It took me by surprise, and at that point in time, I did not know the significance of that.
Being themselves in their cultural and like who they are as a person was actually not priority. The priority was that most of these individuals were immigrants, fled to another country, and their whole thing is, I need to be part of society. I need to fit in so that I can make a living, I can, start my life, etc., etc. Slowly, as it got to, generations down and where we are now ingrained already in society, and it's allowed us to now flourish, right? To now flourish and to share our cultural stories through food, through movies, through branding, through products.
Being here today is really a reflection of understanding where our community has come and what we've gone through, to accept the fact that there were points in our lives as immigrants in this country that we were ashamed of our culture. But I think you need to hit that point before you understand how important our culture is to us and to community.
And today I see all of us as these vessels of culture, vessels of rich knowledge and tradition, and we have so much that we need to share amongst each other, but also for the greater Canadian landscape. We celebrate everybody who has put in the decades to build the foundation for the community and just to be trailblazers, to even open the doors so that we can all be sitting here doing what we love, having the ability to chase our dreams as Canadians, and to be able to welcome others into our country in a way that is unique to our current generation, and so that we can build an even greater society, so that we can have the best versions of ourselves manifest in our lifetime.
To be connected again with the Chinese community all these years. And it is so great to see how everybody is doing extremely well.
When I was a TV news reporter, 做記者嗰陣時候咧 so 辛苦 It's really tough. 周圍走去拍新聞，去報導新聞 It's tough, but I know a lot of people and I know a lot of things that it's like an education for myself too. Now I'm into fundraising business with Scarborough Health Network.
I can serve my community and I can bring in the news from mainstream news to the Chinese community.
I have been involved with the Infant Foundation, Princess Margaret, and eventually also worked very hard to get that Chinese Cultural Center going.
And then I had a 39-year career where I served in the Canadian military. I also served as the Chief Aide-de-Camp to the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario.
I'm also fortunate enough to be the first Chinese Canadian to be the Real Estate Institute of Canada. And then also currently I'm also the Regional Director for Canadian Real Estate Association.
I was the first visible minority, much less Chinese Canadian, to be a chief aide to a vice-regal personage in Canada since Confederation. I'm now serving as a citizenship judge, and I've been doing that for the last 10 years.
It's been 20, 30 years now since we've done it. We've definitely seen a shift in the culture. Like we see young people making it to the highest levels.
I opened retail, flooring, and in a few years, I grew it from one-man show to a 10-store operation.
I've been working with a major developer and builder, in Toronto, probably, the biggest one in North America. I was able to pursue my career and being able to have one of the top positions in the tech industry in Canada.
I am the head of Dragon and Lion Dance in Canada, authorized by the Malaysian Federation, the World Federation, and the Genting Federation.
I have my own company, Tech Design International.
I worked for the bank for 35 years, vice president position. I also started volunteer with Hong Kong Mental Health Association that serves the Asian and the Southeast Asian community.
Later on, I joined the National Ballet of Canada. I was the youngest company member when I joined. I was just so fulfilled to have been given the roles that I was and to have been invited to guest with many different companies throughout the world, dancing with partners and working with choreographers.
And when we come together and we see this fabric closely knit, it is so great to create space for each other and to help each other be seen and to also elevate.
Understanding that our community is intrinsically, authentically Canadian in the fabric of how we've built this country and the roles that we've had, and understanding our history and what we are here to do to move us into the future is an unbelievable task. It's also a big responsibility, and I'm proud to be able to be a voice that can share some of this through personal experience, but also share in the community of other people and other stories so that we can bridge the gap in our community and be a larger presence for everyone.
It's so important to know where you come from, and so important to be sort of rooted and grounded in your ancestry and your traditions, upon which you get to build and design and customize the life you want. It's very important to me that our children know their history and how we were raised.
It's so important to move culture forward through design, events, products, all things of beauty. And why do we spend so much time creating them? This is life, and this is how we can deepen our understanding of ourselves, of each other, how we can relate better to each other, how we can create collective memories, and how we can pass these memories to our children and the next generation. Every story we tell, every publication we print and create, every event we host is all about making culture a beautiful thing so that more people can lean in. We all live in a huge community. We don't exist in a void. We relate to each other, and we're all strands of a very rich social fabric. People have asked me, what is Fête Chinoise? Is it a magazine? Is it an event? We're both of those things, but we also have other projects. We also have other activities that we do. We are really a universe of culture and the arts. And one of the projects that stand out to me is Love at Mid-Autumn. It was birthed during the pandemic. We felt that we still need to do something to bring the community together and to show and spread love and inspiration during a time when it felt a little bit bleak and separated. So we decided that Mid-Autumn was coming up, and we worked with our partners, St. Germain Bakery, and many of our sponsors that year, and a few other great supporters. And we decided to raise money for the Markham Stouffville Hospital's mental health and wellness program.
Just the events that Fête Chinoise throws. Any event, be it the mooncake when we raise money, there's such a link between, helping the community, but also spreading the awareness and beauty of modern Chinese day culture.
No matter what cultural background you are from, or what heritage you might relate to, and whether you were born or raised here or came from somewhere else, the sentiment of longing for connection is absolutely universal. And through traditions, we reconnect with our family roots and uphold each of our sense of cultural identity. What's special about mooncakes? Well, mooncakes, they are synonymous with Mid-Autumn Festival, family, tradition, food, and they're very, very important in my family. It reminded me that that single nostalgic tin in every single family holds together so many memories, and it means so much. Why don't we create one that is a keepsake and it's fresh and contemporary? And we sold them for charity. And so from there, a movement was formed during the pandemic. This became sort of like a way to bring people together, to connect with community, and to give back to our immediate community.
And the vision was to bring the community together, gather, celebrate, enjoy each other's company, share the love and joy of what community is all about.
I have attended many Fête Chinoise events. I think the events are be able to present a kind of concept or a piece of history or a kind of feeling through very vivid, beautiful representation. I think that's very important and very helpful to the next generation to learn and more appreciate the Chinese culture.
While I think that what we do is absolutely gorgeous, and our team works very hard to deliver the most beautiful publication, a very curated digital space, we also are fully aware that we live in a world today where it's very fast-paced. There's a million pieces of content that people can absorb and consume in a day. So we felt that it was very important to have an event where even if you've read the story, you need to see it in person.
The gala, the Showcase Gala, it's arguably, in my opinion, the most beautiful event on the Toronto social scene every year. And somehow the team at Fête Chinoise just raises the bar every year.
And I was just kind of blown away because it was fresh. Nothing else like that was being done. It reawakened my appreciation of culture. There was fashion, there was food, there was art. It was an amazing night.
We had never seen anything like that before. Especially just celebrating the Asian culture was absolutely stunning. The food was delicious and just, it was so fun. And I thought, you know, first of all, how can a table at a gala look so beautiful? It was nice to see so much pride in the beauty of the Chinese traditions.
So the gala is a larger-than-life version of what's in the book. And we invite performers, artists, creators, craftsmen, singers, dancers, leaders, everybody that we've been talking about and doing work with and telling great stories with. And we put them right in front of our audience at our annual signature event at Lunar New Year. I like to call it a wonderland of culture. We are always vying to create the highest presentation of Chinese culture here in Canada so that we can welcome everybody in to see the best of what the beauty of our culture has to offer. It's not about staying within the community, it's actually about the entire Canadian community and creating a world-class event where here in Canada we can feel connected.
I think Fête Chinoise, as I continue to say, has the opportunity to celebrate heritage, but empower the contemporary culture.
Good evening. Welcome to the 2025 Fête Chinoise signature event. So tonight is particularly special, everyone, because Fête Chinoise is celebrating its 10th anniversary. Make some noise for that.
10 years.
10 years. So please put your hands together for Fête Chinoise and everything it's doing to raise our culture and have our community stand together. There is strength in numbers, and we need to see that and not be intimidated or fearful that, oh, there's already one Asian or whatever doing it, therefore I don't have a place. There is a place and voice for all of us.
One of the most beautiful proverbs in Chinese culture that I hold close to my heart is we sit in the shade of trees planted before us. 前人種樹，後人乘涼. And what I find profoundly beautiful about this phrase is the duality of it, of we are dually the planter and the benefactor at the exact same time at all times. When we lean into our heritage and actively engage traditions and contribute our time and talent, we create the present culture that we share.
And I think that in this generation, we're so lucky because we can have a very clear way of looking at progress. And today is a snapshot of what progress looks like. And we're so lucky to be able to enjoy our culture and to dig deep into our culture so that we can do more with it. And so that we can move culture forward, we can share it with others, we can nourish our next generation and pass the torch.
The community, the people I know, all come back to me and let's support and help each other. So I think this is a very sweet moment of all the hardships.
Asian, we do have a star power. We have to celebrate more. Together, we'll be able to achieve more and give back to the community, and we can do great things together.
Giving kids self-confidence and
being able to see other people who look like them achieving things in places that they've never seen, and how our culture and the things that we care about are also being elevated in the mainstream space.
What I see around me is Asian excellence. I see Chinese Canadians, I see the community lifting each other up.
I always say, okay, work hard, play hard, but give back.
I also want to share my good fortune with the people who need it.
And then we be able to push and move forward and upward our culture, our tradition, and let people know we are here.
It's been a blessing to see the level of inclusion.
So I kind of a bridge, try to connect East and West, just like Fête Chinoise.
Every time I walk out at the stage door and I would have little girls asking for my autograph, I start to think, I want to be a great example, share my story with the next generation of future artists.
It's important that we carry out our passion so that we can ensure that all of our generation to come, that they have the space and opportunity to strive so that they could give back to the community.
And now we've got, organizations, publications like Fête Chinoise, which celebrate Asian culture, and we can feel very proud of that.
I would say that it would have been impossible when I first came to Canada, when we settled in Sudbury in 1971, to even perceive an organization like Fête Chinoise, much less the beauty it portrays, the unifying effect it has on all of us.
And this is what the spirit of Fête Chinoise is really all about. Finding the often underrated yet extraordinary stories in our diaspora communities, elevating the narrative, and really giving a voice and a visual to every story so that more people can be inspired and uplifted, and so that more people can see and feel themselves in the stories of others.
And I think that's symbolic of what we're trying to do here, which is creating space that's so beautiful that all generations want to dive in and be a part of it, because we are one living generation with many generations. We hope that Fête Chinoise as a magazine becomes a global title where everyone knows that's the place to look when it comes to diaspora stories for the Chinese community, when it comes to North American representation of Chinese culture. Actually, there's so much we can share with the greater global community if we are not afraid to, if we have the platform to, if there's beauty that just oozes out of culture itself. And we all have to play a part in creating that. I hope that our publication, our platform, all the events that we do, our projects continue to shine a bright light, get more people involved so that we can really showcase the beauty of our culture and make people feel something really deep inside their hearts.
Let's keep that energy going! Woo!
Why is culture cool now? Or it's not that it's cool now, but it's like we never had platforms to allow people to be cool. And Fête really does that, right? Not only does it make it cool, but it's done in a way where every level of society can understand it.
This is quite an amazing milestone celebrating 10th anniversary.
And it's by doing this that we can actually pass the torch so that we can continue to thrive. Because as people change and generations pass, we want the work to continue and want the spirit of our culture to live on.
Thanks for always remembering the roots and promoting the beauty and the truthfulness of Chinese culture.
The response and the continued response makes you want to keep doing it because we're telling their stories and people need to hear your stories.
To bring beauty to this world, it's hard, but is it worth it? Oh yes, because our children, our grandchildren will certainly benefit from this.
I'm so proud to be Asian. I'm so proud to be Chinese. I'm so proud to be Chinese Canadian.
Tell your story. It's worth telling.
Oh my goodness.
So I hope that in the coming year, we continue to move culture forward together. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, okay, yeah, I liked it.
Deb, thank you so much for all that you do. Of course, I'm a huge fan and supporter of you always. Thank you so much.